a hoarder house. I mean, it's
Right.
disgusting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So here's some
Yvette,
pictures.
like she
Yeah.
pulls up her sleeve and she's like, "I'm going," and she
This is us standing in front of the house right before we went and closed with you. And I think we had finally wedged that garage door open because it had been closed and wasn't working. And yeah, stuff just kind of fell out of it.
the first 3 or 4 times we went to the house, we couldn't even get that garage door open. We didn't even know what was in there.
Yeah.
I think Yvette, you've been in real estate for a little bit longer, or you've been around the same journey as me and Simon have?
I dabbled in it a little bit, but I would say my journey started with you guys,
With us. Oh, that's so cool.
Part, yeah.
So we're members of Sub 2 and Gate. Are you part of Gator as well, Simon?
Not part of Gator, no, just Sub 2.
Just Sub 2, yeah. So we joined that journey together, but it's been 8 months already.
I know, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild.
Time
I remember
flies.
we met at our first meetup. I think we might have met actually online first. We
had a conversation and we're like, we chatted.
Yep.
And then we're like, yeah, listen, we'll see you at the meetup. So thank you guys for taking time on a Friday afternoon here and sharing your journey about real estate.
Absolutely,
super grateful. Awesome. So I'll get started because I value your time. And I'm going to start off just by asking a little bit of intro question as far as what got you to real estate. So Simon, maybe you go up first. What got you to real estate?
I moved out to Georgia in 2017 to work in film and TV, and I started to notice that I wasn't having the amount of time available for my family and for my son that I'd like to have. And so ultimately in 2018, I took a real estate class in Los Angeles that was ridiculously expensive. But when I got back out here in late 2018, I jumped back into work. And in the film industry, we work 14, 16-hour days. So it was really difficult to put the time in to get into real estate. Fast forward to COVID, started getting into it again because I had more time because of everything that happened there. And then ultimately, there was a strike that happened in our industry back in 2023. And it looks like there's going to be another strike happening in 2024. So all of that made me start thinking, there's got to be another way to live and a way to have more freedom. And I love the idea of going and meeting people, and I love looking at properties. I love looking at houses. And I met this one here, and she is the same way. She loves looking at houses, and she's got a great design sense. And so I was, I think I was watching some big get together online, raising mental awareness for. I can't remember exactly what it was, but what I did end up doing is one of the guys in there was in Sub 2, and he shouted out Pace Corby, and then I was so interested in Pace at the time because I was checking out Bigger Pockets, and I was on Bigger Pockets quite a bit, and so I shouted him back, and then we just started chatting offline, and he signed me up for Sub 2, and the rest is history. Then I met you later on and met all the team out here in Atlanta, and we've kind of been rolling since then.
Yeah, that is so awesome, man. So you went from prop master in your industry, right? Because you've been in that industry for how long? Have you been in the film industry?
I've been in the film industry for just under 20 years.
Wow.
Well, I've been in my union. Career. I've been being a prop master for about 20 years, and in the industry since '98. So it's been a long time.
Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty cool career. and you said Yvette has that same type of drive for real estate, right? So Yvette, what drove you into real estate as well? Is it similar ideas as far as like freedom type of thing, or?
I think it started like, on TV, like you would watch the cooking shows, and then I thought I could just cook anything. And then you had like the fixer up shows. And then I was like, man, I could do this in my house. And so then I'd be like, okay, let's put in a basement and then do it. And then I'm like, man, let's put in a pool. And pretty soon it's like, let's just do a whole house. And so when we got together and he shared that, then it was like there wasn't anything we couldn't accomplish together,
So
like
cool.
my crazy ideas and his willingness just to go along with them all. Like, yeah.
It's funny. The one thing that she has really opened up in me is my tentative nature. I do a lot of overthinking. I actually have a hat that says, hold on a second, let me overthink this.
When we met, he had paralysis by analysis, and I kid you not, and I just jump in.
Yeah.
Like,
so she's really
okay. Just hold it.
She's opened that up, and it's night and day. It's crazy how much different things are when you have someone that kind of supports you and gives you the chance to just be able to go.
And that's so awesome. Well, that's a power couple. That's what power couples do. It's pretty cool to see you guys, and and we'll get to the story here in a little bit about the big, one of the big projects you guys just handled. But you guys complemented each other. I could have sat there and analyzed paralysis myself on that property, but we'll jump on that here in a little bit. But the other thing I wanted to chat about is that y'all have a family, right? Yeah, y'all have kids and stuff like that, and it's always something, especially I know Yvette said you're old and I'm old. We're at a stage in our life where sometimes you think it's like, how are you going to pivot into a new career, right? Because it's like you're at the stage of life where there's a lot, right? You have kids, you have like there's other stuff, right? What was it in your mind that just said, we're going to make this happen, right? It doesn't matter if it's like we're not old to make a change. We're going to make that change happen.
Right. I think the biggest thing was the community, and you're a sub 2 student. It's like, we know that there's that community out there, and the support. I think what I found early on, and I think you and I might have talked about it a year ago, is that I started to get into the mode of just learning and not doing. And so once we got together and we started going to the meetups and meeting people, meeting you, meeting Pat, meeting Eddie, meeting other people in our industry out here, it really opened things up and allowed us to really know that we can find money in a second if we have a deal. Right. We have people that can back us in a second if we find a good deal, and we can run with it. So knowing that you have that support around here is huge, and it really helped us.
It didn't hurt that you were on strike.
So that's a huge thing, is because of the strike, it opened up a lot of time. And when you have time, so that's the thing, right? It's time and basically and community. I think those are the kind of the two big things is if you have time and community, you can do anything in this industry. Yeah.
We got catapulted into it a little bit, we had nothing but time trying to figure out what to do with that time, like real quick, Yeah.
We both knew that we wanted to make a deal happen early on. And I think Yvette's a little less of a goal setter. I try to be a little bit more of a goal setter, just so I have some kind of idea of where we were and where we're going to go. But she's also the one that says, I like that deal, let's go get it. And so
that's so awesome. But it goes back to like you could have been at the position where it's like, oh my God, we got a strike. Oh, poor me, right? Poor little me. What am I going to do, right? But your mindset was like, it primed you to be able to find opportunities, right?
You know what I think the thing was with this strike, which is different because there's been other strikes in the past and other opportunities where I could have stepped away and done something. I kept thinking back to COVID in 2020, and yes, I was going to my garage and working out every day, but I wasn't, and that was bettering me as a, personally, but I wasn't going out and doing stuff like I should have been. Like if I would have had the knowledge and the community and this person, with me during COVID, man, I can't even tell you how many deals we would have done. It would have been crazy.
Awesome, man.
Interest rates were ridiculously low. There were deals everywhere, and I didn't even I didn't know at the time. So it's one of those things where I didn't want to let that time slip by again.
Yeah.
And now that we have it and we're holding on to it, and we'll get to the deal we're going to talk about here, but it's like you get one deal, you make it work, and you go to the next deal, and that's it's exciting now. Now it's just exciting. I don't want to go back.
Right.
Yeah.
You get every day, wake up and do that stuff that, like for me, I idolized on TV watching them do it. And now I get to literally do that every day. Like, it does not get better.
Yeah, that's so cool. And to your point, going back to that state where you didn't have that right community, right? You didn't have your other partner there with you. Mm-hmm. You could get so far only by yourself, right? It's like, you need that. You need others, right? You need other people to be able to get you to that next level. And man, so I'm so happy, man, that that we got to meet, man. I could call you my friend, and I call you a partner as well, because you guys. I was when I first started, started doing wholesaling, and y'all were my first business partners. I assigned
I'm telling you, likewise, you were our first business partner as well, and we couldn't have asked for anything better. The project itself is fantastic. The people we worked with you and Brian and everybody else, through Gervy, and it's been fantastic.
But I think when you work with good people, it just flows and happens, and it's not that our project didn't have its little bumps and get some way, of course, because they all do. But when you just work with the right people and you have the right people around you, then you figure it all out. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. You start to find out that every little bump that we've faced, somebody else has faced it. Abraham's faced it, or Julie's faced it, or somebody has dealt with it already, and it's nice to have those people to kind of bounce stuff off of.
They walk that path already. So just to give a little background of how this deal transpired, I was doing cold agent outreach on low equity listings, and that's where I was able to lock 2 deals in. One of them was a hoarder house, and that's the one that this amazing couple took under their wing and said, they said, we're gonna get this house so nice and pretty that it's gonna be amazing, and they did. It is like wow. So I'm gonna see if I can share my screen. Is it okay? Could I share my screen?
Yeah. I'm hoping you have pictures, because it doesn't do it justice with just words.
Yeah, let's see. Let me see if I can share first. But while I'm looking for it, give us a little bit of feedback. How was that project? Like I just said that it was like a hoarder house, right? So
the funny thing is you mentioned it to us at a meetup, and then Brian Stat may have mentioned it, but yeah, I remember talking to you about it, and we went and looked at it the next day, I think, if not that day. We looked at it right away. And
I think a key point in real estate is being able to see the potential and not just see what's there. Like if you walk into an empty house, being able to picture your stuff, and I think that's hard for a lot of people. But when we walked into this house, because it was, knee high, waist high, deep in stuff, you really had to visualize and see the potential. Yeah. And it really was a great house with great bones. It just had a lot of stuff in it.
I think there was also something very innocent in terms of us being new and sort of wide-eyed and excited by the prospect of what could be. I think you probably get other investors looking at that house. We had multiple people ask us how we possibly got a hold of the owner for this house. And I continually said, well, my buddy Edgar, he figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
The neighbors were interested in the house. People down the street were interested in the house. Everybody was interested in this house. also there were a lot of people interested in tearing this house down and getting rid of it. Obviously, the picture we're looking at right now is the finished product.
But you can see it had great bones. Like this is what you had to vision when you walked in, is it's a brick house with, in a really good neighborhood with great neighbors.
Do you have, Edgar, do you have any pictures
before? Let me see if I can find an old picture here.
That's crazy. Yeah, some of those rooms we get into because they were so full of stuff. For a long time.
You couldn't see the front of the house, and it was a red brick house, and you couldn't see the front. We had to go through and it was like a jungle there. But we have some really good photos. Yeah. We wedged ourselves through the front door. We climbed up on about 2 or 3 feet worth of garbage and trash and dog food cans and cat food cans.
It was 16 dumpsters, not including any of the reno stuff. That was just their personal belongings that were still in there.
Yeah.
The large dumpsters.
The really big ones. And it was
awesome.
It was amazing. When the very first time we walked through it, I believe we walked through it alone, just you and I. And we had our flashlights and our cameras and stuff. And I didn't want to go in because it was like, it's a hoarder house. I mean, it's disgusting.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So here's a picture.
Like she pulls up her sleeve and she's like, I'm going. And
this is us standing in front of the house right before we went and closed with you. And I think we had finally wedged that garage door open because it had been closed and wasn't working. And stuff just kind of fell out of it.
The first 3 or 4 times we went to the house, we couldn't even get that garage door open. We didn't even know what was in there.
Yeah. That was the kitchen.
That kitchen, it was, just so everybody understands, there was no smell. So we were really fortunate there. The house had been empty for about 6 years. But
as you can see, a lot of the windows were open.
Yeah, so they allowed it to air out. Apparently there was maybe a pack of foxes, or I don't know what you call it. Foxes, but
I don't know. Whatever.
But there were many fox that lived inside of this house. And so I think they kept it probably fairly clean in terms of there weren't rats, there were no mice, we didn't notice roaches. We didn't notice.
The crazy thing is that fireplace is original. That fireplace is all of that stuff in there. We didn't put that in there. We did paint it, but that had always been there. Yeah.
We did take a wall out. See, there's a huge wall in the middle there. They cut the 2 rooms in half, and we just opened it up to give it more light and to just make it updated.
Yeah, I love the way y'all redid the whole kitchen.
Yeah.
And then through the door on the left there is the dining room, and so it has a nice flow. Keeps the dining room on one side and the living room on the other.
I think if you go through like 3 pictures, you'll see what we saw the first time we walked in the house, like trying to go in the front door this way.
Yeah, too, right. Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm backwards for you. Yeah.
I think that was the last one.
Or maybe he's backwards.
Oh, I don't know.
Someone's backwards.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
So that's
the
literally
front door. That's coming in the front door.
What we walked into. Yeah.
And so you can't even see the stairs.
Yeah.
On the left over there.
A little bit, yeah, but
a little bit of the stair railing and stuff, but
yeah.
The room to the right there was an office, and because the trash and the garbage in there was so high when we went in.
Well,
it felt like when I stepped over into that room, it felt like that room was 2 or 3 feet lower. I thought it was like a sunken room until we moved all the trash out. And for the longest time, I had a hard time believing that room wasn't 3 feet lower.
Because in the entryway, the trash was so high that we couldn't even tell that we were climbing in a couple of feet up. So when you got to a room that was just kind of filled with trash, felt like it was a step down.
So anyway, this house, it took us, I guess about 2.5 months.
Yeah.
It took us about 2.5 months from start to finish, which is pretty phenomenal.
Wow.
Our construction
That's
through
amazing.
was amazing, and his team, they went in and cleaned it up so quick and did some really good work in there.
About half the time was the junk removal. That part took about 2.5 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But then once it was open, then we just had some great bones to work with.
Right. Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was. It's a great project. One of the great aspects of it, and something we hadn't talked about yet, was that when you brought it to us, it's a little over an acre, and it wasn't until we started looking a little closer that it's like. And I think you and Brian might have mentioned this, is that originally it was 2 plot. It's 2 acre. It was 2 lots.
2 lots.
It was
right.
2 lots.
In the original Pulte development, they were 2 lots. They just never built on that back lot. So the homeowner bought that back lot as well.
And then he combined them in 74 to be one homestead exemption lot. So one complete lot.
Then the county went in and rezoned it, and then it created it to where it was only 1 lot.
Right. So our thought originally from the beginning is we come in, we fix up the house on Huntsman, the front house, make it beautiful, which we did. In the process, we will apply to split the lot back and apply for, I guess, for
a variance.
A variance to make it buildable. It's the same size lot as everybody else has.
Yeah, it is.
Each of the lots is the same size lot as everybody else has in that community.
So that's been a lot of paperwork and a lot of going to meetings and city council meetings. And, again, we have time, so we were able to do that. But
that's definitely, it's definitely been an
lengthy process.
It's definitely more lengthy than we had anticipated.
I think it also brings out like a lot of people in the community. We've gotten to know a lot of, the good and the bad and the,
I think in every scenario, in every home purchase, you're probably going to have the residents that love the idea that you've cleaned up a house and made it beautiful and restored some of their community back to them. And then you're going to have some community members that are going to be like, we want that back lot to remain.
You have too many lights on your house, and it is affecting the birds' migratory patterns. And we're like,
oh my God!
Sorry, you get the boat, so you want a lot of people.
Yeah.
Wow! But congratulations! It's an amazing house. Hopefully, praying it sells soon. I think it's been on the market for like a few weeks or so.
It's been on the market just about 30 days now.
Yeah.
And so we've had really.
Oh no, you're breaking up.
Did we just drop?
No, still there? I see you. You're back.
Okay.
You're back.
Yeah, we've gotten really good feedback. We have the house is on the market for $765. It's we're still in the process of splitting the back half acre. We've gotten approval to do that.
Wow,
There's just
awesome.
a little more paperwork, A
little more paperwork. We've put the back half acre under contract. So as soon as we get through the little hurdle there, we'll sell that. And then we're assuming that the Huntsman house will sell soon after that. It's got nothing but good reviews.
We have lots and lots of showings. So someday somebody's going to come in and that's their forever house, So
the market's a little weird right now, but that's another thing that is interesting. Get used to the sort of the ebbs and flows of the market,
right?
And how things, 6 months ago, this house might have been gone in a first weekend,
right?
And now it's like people are hesitant. So I think maybe, we'll see. Hopefully it ebbs again, flows again, and we get some buyers.
Yeah, and that's the thing with real estate. You just mentioned it, right? Sometimes there's little pockets of seasons where some of the buyers they're unsure of how things are going to go, or their interest going to go up, or the interest going to go down. People say interest may drop. Some others say interest are going to go up. So, yeah, but I know it's an amazing house, and I'm sure a family is going to, get it because it's so beautiful. I know initially when I showed my wife, she's like, "We need to get it." I was like, "Okay, well, wait a minute." That's and I'm the big overthinker, and
Right.
I think one of these days my wife's just gonna come with a pen and just like hit me from the back and let's do it.
Yeah, I get that sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't hit him in the back.
Yeah, we need that once in a while, you know. We need that love.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The love
Yep.
and the support and the smack upside the back of the head once in a while.
Yeah.
All of
It
It's
works.
really just my
It works.
arm around my shoulders. That feels like a smack.
Oh, this has been an amazing conversation, you know, about your journey, you know, how you started, how you spent 20 years plus in the film industry. You pivoted into real estate. You took this big, massive project on together. It's a beautiful house, and I can't, you know, from here on, it's gonna be like amazing. So, do you have any other projects that you have coming up, or you're hunting? Where are you hunting?
We're hunting.
We're hunting.
We're always hunting. So hopefully your podcast reaches a bunch of people. And
Dude, that's gonna be awesome.
We're always looking, you know, to meet up with new people that can help us find more projects that work. And yeah, we're interested in scaling this year. And I know we're already in June, but
Gosh, that went so fast.
it goes fast. It goes fast. And
Isn't
so
that crazy?
we're excited to kind of ramp it up this last half of the year and see what we can do.
Well, I'm super excited, man. Yeah. So you're primarily just looking in Georgia, though, currently, right?
Yeah.
We're looking in Georgia, but we're not really limiting ourselves to just single family homes. You know, we're
if the deal is right, it's
Sure.
right.
So if it's a commercial deal, if it's storage, if it's a business,
Yeah.
We're excited to sort of evolve and grow in whichever way we can that helps us, well, grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because every opportunity comes with its learning, right, as well. So it's like, yeah, a deal is an opportunity, but oh my God, all the learning you all went through with this property,
We
you
did.
know, it's so amazing. So I can't imagine, right? If it's the next like a 6-unit or a 12-unit multifamily or even bigger, right? All the learning that's going to come with that is going to be amazing.
All of the things that we can take from this project and use towards that, plus all the education we'll learn from that project. You know, it's so exciting to be in a new industry for myself, to be, I think for both of us actually, that we're excited to learn each of the new things. And so, and to have a community, like I said before, that's there to help us learn along the way. So
yeah, well, thank you, Simon and Yvette. Appreciate, value your time. Anything else you'd like to share with my audience, with the community?
If anybody has any deals, they can email me at simon@co2creativegroup.com, and love to have coffee and chat and make as many connections as possible. But besides that, Edgar, you are a saint, and I love you, and you've been great, and I hope our friendship continues for
appreciate it, brother.
Foreseeable future. You're the best, so thank you.
Well, for sure, man. We'll definitely lock up some deals, man. You know, I think we're just starting, man.
Absolutely.
Well, again, Simon, Yvette, thank you. I'll put your email in the description down below. So again, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.